Thank you. No, please sit down and be quiet. You irritate me. Welcome to the Seventh Evan podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Evan or on Instagram at Seventh Evan Pod. Or you can listen on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, on YouTube, on Podbean, and soon Rumble and Odyssey. We are taking over the world. Do you hear me? We have taken over the world. I appreciate you joining me. By the time you hear this, I will be on a plane. I'll be on a plane traveling. I'm going to be out of town, which is my polite way of telling you I will not be recording another episode of this show this week because I will be out of town. I'm flying back to go see a football game at my alma mater. I went to the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, hotty toddy, and I graduated about 5 years ago, and I have not since been back. I have not had a chance to go back until recently. So I am doing that. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. I am a little nervous, though, admittedly. I do not like airports. I like flying. I do not like airports. I do not like finding a parking spot. I don't like the loop, the endless loop that you will inevitably screw up at least once. I don't like the TSA. I don't like it when they take you into a room and finger bang you. Sorry, look for explosive devices up your anus. I don't like any of it. You might think that I would, but I don't. I have decided I do not like it. So tomorrow I have to fly, and I'm afraid that I will get finger banged. So I have a little anxiety. Sue me. But outside of the travel, it will be fun. And that is all you can think about when you're anxious. It's like it's the stuff that gets in the way of the fun. You have to sort of see through it to what you're going to be part of and what you're going to participate in. And you're going to go, that's fun. That's a good time. Even when his finger is up your ass searching for the next 9/11. You just have to think about that football game, you know? Speaking of ass, the president has allegedly shit his pants at the Vatican. The Vatican, for heathens, for the Gnostics and the barbarians, the Vatican is the holy city in Rome. Holy for Catholics, not for Protestants, Muslims, Jews, or really most of us. But for Catholics, it's a holy city, or so I've been led to believe. I'm not a Catholic, but I know they like this city, and I know the Pope lives there. And our president, Mr. Joseph Biden, decided to go say hi to the Pope. And, allegedly he shit his pants. And this is based on a tweet by Amy Tarkanian at Mrs. T106. She says the word around Rome is that Biden's meeting with the Pope was unusually long because Biden had a bit of a bathroom accident, quote, at the Vatican, and it had to be addressed prior to him leaving. I know we joke often about this, but this is the actual rumor going around Rome now. Well, Amy, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Rome was not built in a day, but the Romans had excellent plumbing for their time. So that's something. I don't know why people, let me just preface this. I don't know if I believe this story. It feels too good to be true. I want it to be true. I lust for this story to be true. I want so bad that President Biden shit himself in the Vatican. I want that. That is what I want. But you have to know that often these stories feel a little loaded, you know? They feel a little too good to be true, you know? Like the story, the Russian, you know, there's a lot of people who bought into the whole Russian collusion thing. And as, you know, over the 4 years Trump was president, there was all these crazy news stories that people still believe. In 2008, people think that Sarah Palin said, I can see Russia from my house. Sarah Palin did not say that. Tina Fey said that on Saturday Night Live. But people, because they're dumb, think that's a quote by Sarah Palin. Because it feels right. It feels like something Sarah Palin might have said. Trump, they said that there was a quote at one point where he said that he didn't, you know, he didn't care about some losers or whatever. That way he was talking trash on the military, like he was telling these guys in these generals, he was talking trash on veterans, and it was like, no way does Trump say that. But if you believed that Russians infiltrated the election, you might have believed this story, which was that Donald Trump rented a hotel room that Obama stayed in and hired Russian prostitutes to pee on the bed. And maybe he was under the pee, maybe he was part of the pee play of sorts. I don't know the details, but people believed it to be true because it felt right. It felt like Donald Trump is that kind of guy. I don't get that vibe from Trump, but for some people it feels right. I do get the vibe that Joe Biden shits himself. And that's based on him being a very, very, very old man with dementia. I understand that, you know, if you've ever been around somebody on their last legs, the bowel movement is the first to go. Joe Biden's been on his last legs for a while now. He's had a tough few years. There's a reason why they were hiding him on the campaign trail, because he was not doing so well. And it only makes sense that it's going to get worse. So he went to the Vatican, and this lady is alleging that the rumor around Rome is that he shit his pants. And I don't think, but here's the thing, I don't think, if that's true, I don't think that's that bad. I mean, it's, you know, he's old and decrepit and dying, right? So that's not new. That's the same. That has been true this entire presidency. This was true when people voted for him. But Joe was, I think, at the right place to shit himself, because the Vatican is it's filled with a lot of very old men. And these old men are often having to wear diapers. They often have to have staff attend them because this is not a pleasant place to be. If you are a 68-year-old bishop and you have to wear pantaloons and a robe and you have to go to the bathroom, I don't see you going. Women have rompers, and so when a woman is at like a bar and she has to use the restroom and she's wearing a romper, it's like she's basically going to get naked in that bathroom stall. And that's not something I think about often, just sometimes. But I imagine if you're like a bishop and you're in these robes, it's a lot like a romper. If you have to go to the bathroom, like you have to put your staff down, you have to take a crown off, you have to take your robes off, your pantaloons, you probably have some magic underwear, some trousers. I know I'm blending things here, but you get the point. These guys are wearing layers. It only makes sense that they would give them all diapers. If you're this ancient cardinal who's 93, and and you got to go to the back, you just got to go. And maybe the Swiss Guard has a changing table somewhere, but I think it's not uncommon for people to shit themselves at the Vatican. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's unusual. So for our president to shit himself at the Vatican, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Do you want him handling the nukes? I don't know. Probably not. I don't want anybody handling nukes. I don't trust any of them. I trust a dementia-riddled Joe Biden with nuclear weapons before I trust the average politician, Nancy Pelosi. Now, if she starts shitting herself, I might give her the nukes. I don't know. We'll see. But Joe's not doing well, and I'm not surprised. But I have to say, I think they're casting stones here in defense of Joe. I say they're casting stones. I think most people, if they're being honest with themselves, have at some point or another defecated in their pants, whether or not they were at the Vatican. I defecated my pants once. I ate lunch at a Denny's, and I had the chicken fried steak, and I was walking home, and what I thought was gas was liquid coming out of my ass. And that was disappointing. That was a low moment in Evan's life. You can follow me on Twitter at 7thEvan and make fun of me for that. I'll allow it. But I think if we're honest, we've all done these things. We've all had the chicken fried steak and shit ourselves. The only difference was I wasn't meeting the Pope. But I think meeting the Pope is a little overrated. It's just a man in robes. They replace them every time they die, so they can't be that important because everyone dies. And I'm not Catholic. My ancestors were kicked out of Europe because we didn't listen to the Pope. That is why we are here, because we didn't want to deal with him. So to me, I think as an American, it's almost your duty to shit in front of the Pope. And for that, I think Joe Biden is a true patriot. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your service, Joe. Enough of this shit talk. There's more to my own story there, but I'll leave it at that. I've overshared enough. This is great. So I don't know, you guys have heard of this Let's Go Brandon thing. So if you don't know, a lot of people were chanting "fuck Joe Biden" at various sporting events, which is, fine. It's not very original. It's just like, fuck that guy. I mean, yeah, sure, fuck him. But, it's not super creative. And they were saying fuck Joe Biden, and at I believe it was a NASCAR event, the lady reporter was talking to some fella who was driving, and the people behind her were saying fuck Joe Biden, and she said, oh, listen, they're saying let's go Brandon. Now, I don't know if that was if the driver's name was Brandon, because if it was, that's a great save. But I don't think the driver's name was Brandon, so it doesn't actually make any sense why she would say that. So now people are saying, let's go Brandon, because it's really a mockery. This is a white pill. If you're familiar with Michael Malice, he's pointed this out, is that people on the right they're not angry at Joe, they're angry at the media and the universities and the elites. Correct, and that's the correct person to be angry. Joe Biden is a figurehead and he's barely ahead. The guy is empty. He's on his way out. The fact that he has any real power to me is, I just don't buy it. But the conservatives and the right, they always get caught up with, like, and this is politics, right? Oh, fucking Joe Biden. Oh, typical. Or, ooh, Donald Trump. Ooh. And then it's like, well, no, like, your real enemy is not Joe Biden. The real enemy is the media, who lies and cheats and manipulates. And the real enemy is the universities that perpetuate these things and raise these little activists. Those are the true enemies. And let's go Brandon it elevates fuck Joe Biden, because fuck Joe Biden is whatever. Let's go Brandon, it's a mockery of the media, which is the real culprit, because they're the ones who generate all our strife. They're the ones who make everybody hate each other. They're the ones who are feeding misinformation. They're the ones who spread fake news. And as Donald Trump correctly pointed out, they are the enemy of the people. So, let's go Brandon, I think, is a better protest. And there's this story here about this Southwest pilot who allegedly, as he was landing, put out on the speaker, oh, let's go Brandon. And the people who have spent the last, 4 to 10 years of politicizing everything, the ones who said we need the NFL to be active in social justice, we need film to reflect this, we need the workplace to reflect this. The people who have been pushing all of this bullshit were suddenly very offended that this pilot allegedly said, let's go Brandon. So Glenn Greenwald, who's one of my favorite journalists and is not a conservative, by the way, he collected some of the craziest responses that people have had. And this guy goes, so this is based on a retweet from Jesse Singal, and he goes, this is a DM from a pilot. This is a DM from a pilot. They go, Southwest pilot saying, let's go Brandon, demonstrated the poorest of judgments, best case, and a MAGA death wish worst case. And then the rest of the flight crew let him remain in cabin operating a commercial aircraft. They should, in fact, all be fired and lose their certificates. So not only should this pilot be fired, the entire flight crew for allowing him to operate a commercial aircraft should be fired and lose their certificates. FAA won't let me fly when mentally impaired. Impairments including being sad or angry. In a commercial crew, they're supposed to apply such tests to each other. Total failure to implement the I'm safe checklist. Clearly, the guy is stressed out enough about something. Stolen election, vaccine mandate, Hillary Clinton. I I love that he threw Hillary Clinton at the end there. Yeah, everything in there and Hillary Clinton. Why is anyone stressed about Hillary these days? I'm not. I don't think anyone's stressed. And Glenn Greenwald has these posts, and he shares this one. This one's from Chris Hahn, at Chris Hahn, who's verified. He goes, I like pilots that don't sympathize with terrorists. Southwest has some explaining to do. This one comes from Dean Obadiah Lala. He says Southwest Airlines is now the pro-January 6th terrorist attack airlines. Wow, if that's the case, I should become a member. And then Asha Rengappa, who's not verified, but this has 3,000 retweets, says, as an experiment, I'd love for Southwest Air pilot to say, long live ISIS before taking off. My guess is that 1, the plane would be immediately grounded, and 2, the pilot fired, and 3, a statement issued by the airline within a matter of hours. If you say, let's go, Brandon, that is the equivalent of saying, long live ISIS. Because you know how all those college kids saying, let's go, Brandon, they hijacked airplanes and flew them into towers. Everyone knows that. This is odd. This is so... it's funny because in her mind, if you are a conservative who supported Trump, you are a terrorist. So she lives in a country in which, let's say, they say 80-something million voted for Trump. 80 million terrorists. I would get the fuck out. You will never see my ass in Pakistan. You will never see my ass in Iran. You will never see my ass in any of these terrorist-sponsored nations. If you believe that half the country are terrorists, you should get the fuck out, just for your own safety. And, yeah, I think that's interesting. The thought that this is... that if you say, let's go, Brandon, that's the equivalent of saying, long live ISIS. First off, I don't know anybody who, like, is that a thing the terrorists say? I know they say Allah, Allahu Akbar, right? God is great. I know that's sort of the famous line. I've never, long live ISIS. Isn't that funny? Like, she's trying to make this false equivalency here. But she doesn't want to say the thing they actually say, Allah Akbar. She does not want to say that. She wants to say long live ISIS because that's the well-known expression. Interesting. It's funny. Just pay attention to how people lie. One of it's like the lie of omission. She wants to make a comparison to ISIS, but she doesn't want to talk about like what the ISIS person would actually say. But, you know, it's an interesting strategy. I'm just saying. And then this guy, Tristan Snell, he goes, let's go, Brandon has become the MAGA version of Sieg Heil. Okay, Tristan. I think this is it's always funny to me how quickly it takes to get to a Nazi comparison when you're talking about people you just don't like. You know? And it's funny because there are actual examples of Nazis out there today, at least in personality and not in ideology, right? And it's not the Trump voters who say, let's go, Brandon, because those people are not controlling your life or trying to. So that was interesting. It's funny. So the story is, let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find the original story. I think I might have set it aside. But the lady, this was an Associated Press reporter, and the lady was on the flight. Hold on, damn it. Okay. I thought I was prepared, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't stop listening. Please. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm changing podcast on you. So this is okay. Found it. So this is an Associated Press reporter, and she tweeted out. Her name's Colleen Long. She is verified. She goes, that feeling when you are trying to go on vacation and then the pilot says the very thing you're working on over the loudspeaker and you have to try to get him to comment, but then almost get removed from the plane. First off, are you on vacation or are you working? That's my first question, Colleen. Are you on vacation or are you working? You can't be trying to go on vacation and also be working on something. It's one or the other. Yeah, every time somebody writes a story about how they were in the airport and they saw something and thus it's an indication of America, that's always funny to me. It's like I was in the airport and I saw a white man in a MAGA hat and he said masks are for fucking queers. And you're like, what? He said what? And it's like everyone said, go to hell. And we all cheered. And you're like, what? This all happened in Terminal C? And they're like, yes. Now don't ask questions. I don't ever, this again, the Poopy Biden story feels a little too good to be true. When a reporter is working on a story and the pilot says the thing that you're working on, I think that's a little convenient. Or maybe what you're saying or working on is so common that it's actually not worth working on. But hey, what are you going to do? So she said that, and then she goes, in defense of the airline, also in defense of airline, I was asking them to open the locked cockpit and probably sounded insane. Well, that's self-aware. Here's the thing. It's kind of interesting to read that in kind of a comparison to the ISIS remark, because this woman did try to storm the cockpit. She tried to go full Muhammad Atta here. And all because she heard the pilot say, let's go, Brandon. And then tried to go into the cockpit to get him to comment. I feel like if he said, that is his comment. Let's go, Brandon. That's the comment. Anywho, she's trying to go on vacation, guys. And then here comes, this is interesting. So then the audio comes out, and this is the audio that she claims is the audio, but it's actually from like 2 weeks before she said it happened. So let me play it for you. Or I thought I was going to play it for you. Am I going to play it for you? You know, this is the thing about technology, is it's treacherous.
East about 7 or 8 miles an hour. Good visibility, mostly clear skies, 77 degrees. Thanks for coming out and flying with Southwest Airlines. Welcome aboard. And remember, let's go bird.
Let's go bird. So it cuts out. And I think it says let's go Braves, because the Braves, as I'm recording this, the Braves have won the World Series. This is in the middle of October playoff baseball. But that was the audio she claims from the same flight, and it's actually from 2 weeks before that. So I think she's lying. But here's the thing. Even if the guy did say this, which I think if that's the audio, he said, let's go Braves. That's what I'm hearing. But he didn't say, I mean, it cuts off and it sounds like he's saying, let's go Braves. But even if he doesn't, if you haven't spent the last 4 years, 5 years, 7, 8, however long years trying to put politics into everything, you do not have any right to complain about this. Partially, this is what the right didn't like about the Kaepernick thing. They were like, this is not the venue. Football is not the venue. During the anthem is not the venue to have this discussion. And they were like, oh, we're going to say it anyways. And I'm like, well, it's not all that true. What are you calling us, a liar? Oh. And we had this stupid back and forth, and I don't think it changed anybody's mind. But it did scare the shit out of all the corporations. Well, now you live in a world where people are allowed to complain at work about politics, and people are allowed to make proclamations and whatnot. So a pilot saying, let's go, Brandon, should be completely fine in your wheelhouse. That nobody should be offended by that. After everything we've been through, that should not bother you one bit. I don't care about, oh, well, if you guys think it should be out of the workplace. No. That's not how we play this game anymore, right? The game has changed. You cannot say to me, you can only battle us the right way while we cheat. You cannot say, well, your politics have to stay out of the workplace, but our politics can be part of the workplace. Now, my theory is that no one's politics should be in the workplace, but they said, Evan, fuck you. We are gonna do this in the workplace, and you're gonna fucking like it. And if you don't, we're gonna call you racist. And we're gonna say it's because you're white privilege and you're insecure. And we're gonna make all these accusations against you. So again, these aren't my rules. We have said that my rules are not the rules. They decided on that, unfortunately. So these are the new rules. And so that's the thing. They this audio, they're debating whether or not this is the real audio. I don't know. But the point is, never trust a journalist. That's the real message here. Don't listen to the fucking... Anybody who works for the Associated Press should not be listened to. Anywho. On to... what do I want to talk about? Elon? How about Elon? Elon's great. I like Elon. He's nuts. He's crazy. But I like him. And he got into a little bit of a Twitter fight, which is another reason I like him. And he had a Twitter fight because the director of the UN's World Food Program, David Beasley, told CNN that it was time for the ultra-wealthy to, quote, step up now on a one-time basis in order to help 42 million people that are literally going to die if we don't reach them. Oh, they're going to literally die. As opposed to illiterally, like what is the... Yeah, they're going to die. They're going to die, but, not literally die if we don't reach them. He goes on to specifically mention Elon Musk and Amazon founder Jeffrey Bezos, the two richest men in the world. On Sunday, Musk replied to a Twitter user who pointed out that $6 billion would be just 2% of his net worth. Musk said that if the WFP could describe exactly how the donation would solve world hunger, he would, quote, sell Tesla stock right now and do it. I love this. Elon is calling them out. Because this is the problem that we have. It's not that, people, they go on about the rich. And they go on about Jeffrey Bezos. They go on about Elon Musk, Bill Gates. And I'm not saying that any of those guys are even good. I'm not going to say anything like that. But it's this weird thing where it's like, oh, if you just gave us your money, then everything would be fine. Like, that's the thing that keeps it from all working is you have the money. And it's like, no. The UN is one of the most corrupt organizations to have ever been on the face of the earth. Saddam was stealing from the oil for food program through the UN. This is what they do. they are powerless. They have no army. They have no anything. All they are is a giant body of diplomats who make a bunch of empty proclamations and pretend to have some sort of power. And so when they claim, oh, like if you guys gave us $6 billion, we could save 42 million people who are literally going to die. So Musk said after he would sell his Tesla stock right now to do it, he goes on to say that the plan must include, quote, open source accounting so the public sees precisely how the money is spent. And Beasley responded to Musk a few hours later, offering to, quote, be on the next flight to you and saying the executive can throw me out if you don't like what you hear. I love that. Like, just let me have a meeting with you. And no, Musk is saying, describe your plan right here. I don't want to meet. Tell me exactly what we'll do, and I will sell $6 billion worth of Tesla stock. And I will pay you this. I will pay this. But this guy's like, let's have a meeting. The meeting's here, bitch. Beasley also said that the $6 billion figure wouldn't solve world hunger, but, quote, will prevent global political instability, mass migration, and save 42 million on the brink of starvation. Okay. Musk replied by asking him to publicly publish the organization's current and proposed spending in detail. Quote, sunlight is a wonderful thing. Yes, it is. In a separate tweet, Musk shared the link to a 2015 report alleging that UN peacekeepers were sexually abusing children in the Central African Republic in 2014, adding the comment, what happened here? A representative for Tesla did not immediately respond to a request for comment. I want to know what the UN said. It's weird that they're asking Tesla, but not the UN. Isn't that weird? Hold on. Who wrote this? I'm on MSN. This is NBC News. Okay. They want to know. This guy wants to know what Tesla thinks about what Musk just told you what he thinks. Elon Musk is Tesla. You should ask the UN what they think about Musk's proposition. So I don't know. Why do they ask Tesla and not the UN? I don't know. So it's funny that he pointed that out. The UN is not a good organization, people. This is not conspiracy. You could just see the years of ineptitude and the bloviating and the fact that they put countries like Saudi Arabia on the Human Rights Council. I mean, that's insane. That's objectively insane. So, I don't know. Good for Elon. I like this. I like that we get to have our billionaire, you know? Like it's our sports team. Like people go, oh, I love Bill Gates, or I love Steve Jobs, rest in peace. Or you want to be a contrarian, you're like, oh, I like Jeffrey Bezos, whoa, and whoa. And then I get to be like, well, I like Elon, he's my billionaire. It's cool. I like these celebrity billionaires. I think it's progress. I think we should be appreciative of that, of what they provide. Good for Elon, though. He's right. I feel like that's a simple proposition, because you could just tweet out you could just take your proposal and put it in tweet form, and then put out all of the accounting. I don't think that's for $6 billion. I think I would do it. I'd do it. Unless I didn't have anything to give him. I wonder if that's the case. I hate that story. I'm going to move on from it. Colin Kaepernick is in the news. Colin Kaepernick is a fun guy, you know? He's a fun guy. He's got a Netflix series out where he's like explaining racism for dummies, I think. And it's funny because Colin is like wearing like a turtleneck, and he's got his afro all out, and he's wearing all this stuff that it's like, if I were to dress up like a Black Panther for Halloween, that's how I would dress. And Colin Kaepernick, this is his new thing. And this suffering black man in America just got a Netflix deal. And as we know, they underpay over at Netflix, guys. You know, guys just don't get paid at Netflix. It's a tough business there. They're barely stringing along. And Colin Kaepernick, with his Nike shoe deal, has a deal with Netflix now. And he compared the NFL Combine to slavery. So here's a clip from this brand new show, which I'm excited to watch.
What they don't want you to understand is what's being established is a power dynamic.
Well, that's a lot. By the way, he's walking on a football field wearing all black turtleneck, black leather vest. It's got to be hot, man. That cannot feel good.
Before they put you on the field, teams poke, prod, and examine you.
They poke, prod, and examine you. I've never been to a combine. I have watched the combine. It is not exciting. It is, it's really, in my understanding, the combine is more of a formality. It's more to like, just get like, hey, we need to get a physical exam. You know, how's this guy's knee? You know, because if you're a running back, you might need to have healthy knees, or your throwing shoulder. If you're a quarterback, it's kind of more of that. And then it's just like interviews. But they do the weigh-in, they do the shuttle, they do all these physical things. And if you're watching this at home, I know you guys are watching along. This is Colin is now on a field, and there's all these African American men lined up. They're all lined up, and some fellows are about to examine them.
Searching for any defect that might affect your performance. No boundary respected. No dignity left intact.
I love the thought, like, no dignity left intact. Like, these guys are getting like fondled. This is not. It's the most boring thing in the NFL is the combine. If you're watching this, and you're not an NFL scout, you're at a low point. This is a low point for you. You're watching guys do the shuttle run on a Wednesday afternoon or whatever in Indianapolis. You have reached a low point. And also, the thought, like, this is a like, being left without dignity. Like, did they get raped? That is this is a very odd way to go about the NFL Combine. And now they're all walking. All the African American football players are all walking in a straight line. They're all black men, by the way. I don't know. This is not the NBA. If this was an NBA video, I would buy it, although you'd be ignoring the 7-foot European, like the Greek guys and the fucking, Transylvanians and the Spaniards playing basketball. But there's not a lot of those guys, so I'd let it pass. 30% of the NFL is white. It's not like they don't exist. Most starting quarterbacks are white. A lot of offensive linemen are white. Some linebackers, some D linemen, even some wide receivers. Adam Thielen and Cooper Kupp, two of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now, both white. Now they have transitioned into slaves. So they were walking in their shorts, and they have become slaves with chains in a cotton field. And Kaepernick still stands over them because, he's more important than they are.
Look at that shape there. Look at this. Mr. Farmer, I got your bid. 30, take 30 to you. 100. Sold.
And now it's a slave auction. and they're in chains. This is what Kaepernick is saying, the NFL Combine. If you are at the NFL Combine and you end up on an NFL team, you will at least get thousands of dollars to play football. I don't know if you've ever had a job, but you do not get, hundreds of thousands of dollars to play it or to work it fresh out of college. That's not normal.
Next one coming up, best one we got. 500, 600,
And then I love it because now they're cutting between like football and the slaves. And it's like, here's this fucking old white man. He's got the sunglasses on, whistle and fucking stopwatch. And he's looking at this black athlete all, you're gonna pick some cotton, boy. Oh God, this is so cringe.
Look at this here. Come on, who wants this?
Oh, he's measuring their hands.
700. There we go now. Look down. I'm telling you what I want here.
I'm telling you what I want. And Kaepernick watches them shake hands, and he's, this is hilarious. I'd like to play an earlier video of Colin Kaepernick as well. So that was Colin Kaepernick's new voice. This is his old voice.
Faced it 3 times this year.
Well,
What
this
are
is an
their
interviewer.
strengths?
I think the biggest strength they have is they play fast and they play with confidence. Their scheme is pretty simple as far as they don't have a lot of moving parts. They don't do a lot of different things, but they're very good at what they do.
Where are they weak? Where can Peyton pull them apart?
I think for him, he has a very good grasp on what he wants to do and how he can manipulate people. So I think a lot of the interior of their zone defenses he'll be able to take advantage of. And I think they have the receivers if they do get.
This is like when Hillary Clinton starts being like, and y'all, and y'all, and y'all. And Joe Biden's like, they're going to put y'all back in chains. And it's like, dude, you're a white guy from fucking Delaware. What? Colin Kaepernick was adopted and raised by white people. He now sounds like Hillary Clinton at a rally in Baton Rouge. It's strange. I think it's strange that it's called code switching. That's what I've heard. It's called code switching, where you change your accent based on who you're around. Obama would do, when Obama would go up on stage, he'd go shake the white guy's hand, shake the white guy's hand, shake the white guy's hand, and then he'd do like the crazy fucking handshake with the black guys, like, what's up, brother? And like, it's just like all of a sudden, it's like he's not talking to, it's like it is his black self. And it's like weird because it's like, well, which one is you? Which one's you? I don't know. It's odd. So Kaepernick has developed an accent, and he's comparing the NFL to slavery. Here's the thing. I understand that athletes have, it's different. It would be weird having your body picked apart like that. You get everybody talking about you, criticizing you. All of that makes sense to me. I don't get the part where you go, oh, this is no different than slavery, because that is really shitty. That is wildly insulting to slaves. And slaves, the reason why they were slaves is because they did not have a choice. They were held in bondage against their will. You can walk away from the game of football whenever you want. Colin Kaepernick effectively did. So, yeah, it's a weird, I don't know why. And it's funny because nobody's talking about this except on like conservative media, which means all the libs who cover sports either have not watched this at all, which is, I think, most likely, or they've seen this and they're embarrassed and they don't want to talk about it, which is also possible. But you cannot simp for Colin Kaepernick for years and defend this. I'm sorry. This is beyond belief to me. But anywho, Colin Kaepernick, this is Clay Travis. Colin Kaepernick compares the NFL Combine, which allows all players of all races a voluntary chance to become multimillionaires, to slavery. Anyone defending this imbecile lacks a functional brain. Yes, I agree with that. I think that's fundamentally true. I don't know how you can defend that. I don't get it. There's guys who do defend him, but he had opportunities. And not to rehash that whole debate, but, much more talented players have not lasted as long as Colin Kaepernick in our discussion. We're looking at guys who have real talent and they make some mistakes off the field or they screw up. As I do this, Henry Ruggs, who certainly has a lot of upside as a wide receiver, just got arrested for killing somebody in a DUI. He was allegedly driving drunk, rear-ended somebody in Vegas, and that person died. It's a felony, and I heard that he faces between 2 and 20 years. And the Raiders cut him. I don't think that they went into this week thinking he was going to get cut. I think they saw him as the part of their future. And that guy is certainly a much more talented wide receiver than Colin Kaepernick was as a player. And here's the thing. He played like dog shit. Everyone acts like he was this stud. He was dog shit. He had a couple good years, and then the league figured him out, and then he was dog shit, and then he got a crazy girlfriend. And apparently guys will do anything for pussy. I wouldn't know. But that's what I hear. And he started dating this crazy fucking activist. And now he's wearing turtlenecks and leather jackets. And he's an activist explaining that the NFL Combine is no different than a slave auction. Well, good luck, bud. And that's a great place to be. Also in the news, speaking of NFL news, Desean Watson did not get traded. This is, if you have listened to me, you may or may not have heard. Desean Watson, quarterback for the Houston Texans, has about, I believe, 22 allegations of sexual assault against him, claiming, among other things, that he would go to massage parlors and try and get sex acts, and he would pressure the women, and he put it, kind of got physical with a couple of them, and, he was trying to get a rim job. And listen, I don't think that there's anything wrong with prostitution, at least on a legal sense. You can discuss the morality from here until Timbuktu, but I'm of the mindset that 2 or more, whatever, consenting adults want to do whatever they want to do. That's their business, not mine. But there's some allegations in there that are worse than that. And he's being sued. He's got 22 women suing him. That is not good. And for whatever reason, the NFL media kept dragging this out like, who's he going to get traded to? And they were saying he's going to get traded to the Dolphins, or he's going to get traded to the Eagles, or he's going to get traded to the Panthers. Oh, he might go to the Broncos, but he has a no trade clause, so he gets to pick where he's going to go. And it's like, wait, this guy has 22 allegations of sexual assault against him. He's lucky to be on an NFL roster right now. The fact that they have not released him is amazing to me. and they're going to hold on to him at least until the off season, or unless something else comes out. But and it was funny. The media was just like, "Oh, where's Deshawn going to go?" It's like prison. I think he's going to prison. He's not going to Miami. He's going to a correctional facility in Texas or Colorado or something. There's no way. This is, unless he settles, which I believe that there are criminal charges being investigated also. So, like, this isn't going away. You think that this shit gets wrapped up before the trade deadline? Unbelievable. So, yeah, trade deadline came and passed, and shocking, nobody traded for him. And they keep saying, oh, well, they met with the Dolphins, and they met. Well, then, if that's true, the Dolphins are the dumbest fucking team in the world. That's unbelievable. If these teams were actually sniffing around this, everybody should be fired. Everybody in those front offices should be fired. This guy's going to be playing the longest yard. This is not you. Why would you even want this guy on your team? We used to have that mindset, like, oh, you can't have a nutcase like that at the most important position in football. No, I agree. You can't have that. So, yeah, shocking. He did not make it, if you will. And finally, Democrats were just wrecked in an election today. This is a rather fascinating story to me. Glenn Youngkin won the governor's race in Virginia. Virginia is an interesting state. It's been purple for a long time because of the, Washington, D.C. area and whatnot. And it's been going blue pretty hard for the past few elections. And Terry McAuliffe, I keep being told people like him. I don't know anybody that likes him, but I keep being told that people like him. He's a former Clinton operative, and he was governor of Virginia. He ran again, and he basically ran on parents should not be allowed to influence their children's curriculum. Parents should, this is critical race theory is not a real thing. We're not teaching it, but even if we are, it's good. Sort of an odd, it's not real, but if it is, it's good. Okay, well, all right. And basically said that if you support Glenn Youngkin, you're a Nazi. And I don't think that's a winning message. I think that's fine when you want to bully somebody, but I don't think you can bully people for that long. So Democrats it looks like they got completely wiped in Virginia. So they lost the governor's race, they lost the lieutenant governor's race, and they lost the attorney general. Lieutenant governor is the first African-American woman to be in that position. She's a Republican. I do not know her name. I don't really care what her name is, but here's the thing. It was not a good day for Democrats, and it looks like New Jersey is going to be close as well, which is very unexpected. This is not a good sign if you're a Democrat. It's not a good sign. Like, Republicans shouldn't feel comfortable because, they could still fuck it up. But this is not a good way to end 2021, is to lose a state that you thought was going blue and to lose it so handily. So I don't know about Glenn Youngkin. He's a moderate type Republican. I don't think he's probably much different than a Mitt Romney type, but I think this is hilarious. I enjoy it when they lose. I hope these idiots double down and triple down and regret it in the end. That's my hope. So Godspeed. I will be back next week with another episode of the Seventh Heaven podcast. Remember, you could follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow me on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. Listen to the show on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and enjoy yourselves. You've earned it. That's right. You earned it.